Are you looking to take your personal finances to the next level? You're in the right place. Welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not, with your host, Joseph Sangle.
Well, welcome to the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by Fully Funded Life. My name is Joe Sangle. We are fired up to help you each and every Monday with some practical help, some inspiration to help you in your money journey. I'm joined, as always, by my co-host, Megan Hibbard, who joins me today. Are you fired up today?
Fired up for episode number 240.
It's episode number 240. It's amazing. That's a lot of episodes sitting here yammering about money.
Yep.
And yet we still don't run out of topics. Isn't that awesome?
That is true.
Well, we're fired up to help everybody today. And February is a very special month. It's the shortest month of the year.
It is.
And what else is special about this month?
It is the month of love.
Yes. And I think maybe we could have a bunch of hearts flying around the screen. We should, just maybe Cupid could flap around. Yeah, it's love month.
Yep.
And love, L-O-V-E, although I pronounced it L-U-V, I think there. Love. It's love. L-O-V-E stands for what? We're going to focus on love for the month. And so this love, we're going to talk about it for the next 4 weeks. Each week, we're going to focus on one of the letters. So we have a brand new acronym. I'm so fired up about it. Tell everybody what the 4 letters of love stand for that we've kind of brainstormed up.
Yes. I laugh because when we got to V, it got a little bit interesting. So you'll have to stay tuned to the other options.
Yes, that's right.
But for now, it stands for L is language, opportunity, vision, and estate.
Right. We're going to talk about language today. Mm-hmm. And so that's going to be a lot of fun. And when we talk about language and money, how we talk about money, it matters a lot, doesn't it?
Yep.
And so I think when we think about all the emotions that people have when it relates to money, particularly in the bounds of a marriage relationship, when two people who are unique and different, who have different experiences growing up with money, who have different views of money, have different visions for how it should be used, it's very important to think about the language that we use. And so as we were kind of thinking about this, it was kind of a unique way, a fun way to kind of brainstorm how we can help everyone who listens to the podcast, all these people we have the pleasure of serving each and every week, to say, how can we look at the way that we talk about money in a positive, productive way? And what are some different ways that we kind of brainstorm?
Mm-hmm. Yep. All right. So we talked through a couple of different ways, maybe when you're talking about money, how you could talk about it. So first one is you could be optimistic versus pessimistic.
Oh, yeah. They're totally different mystics. Opta or pessimistic. Mm-hmm. So are you an optimist or are you a pessimist? So what an optimist would say, hey, we're going to get through this. We'll get through this. There's no problem. We can get through this. There's no problem. I don't know how, but we're going to get through it. What does a pessimist say?
What's going to happen next?
Oh, what's going to happen next? It's just... it's the downer. It's the, it's just, we can't ever get ahead. We're just never going to happen.
When it rains, it pours.
When it rains, it pours, and it pours all the time here. We in a rainforest.
When's the other shoe going to drop?
Yeah. When's the other shoe going to drop? Oh, it's a piano. Great. Followed by a safe. Yeah. So optimistic versus pessimistic, they're different type of mystics. Mm-hmm. I like it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Ding.
Yep.
Okay. So it's very important to think about that. Like, I'm an optimist. I know that's shocking to most people who listen to this, but I'm a bright sider. The glass, if it has a drop in it, it's more than half full. Let's go. What would you say your natural wiring is?
I fall, so on the Enneagram scale, if you've heard the Enneagram, I'm a 6.
That's an all type different mystic.
Yeah. So 6, one of their keys are, they're loyal, that's a great characteristics. But one of our things is we tend to go to worst case scenarios.
Okay. And that's a 6?
Yeah.
Isn't?
And so I feel like a lot of times it's easy to be a little bit pessimistic.
Okay.
But with some things I'm super optimistic about. But I feel like a tendency of a 6.
So let's talk about
pessimistic
when it comes to money. So you said with some things, what about money? Do you tend to be more optimistic or more pessimistic?
Probably more pessimistic, unfortunately.
That's good.
Thankfully, I married Jordan, who is an optimist.
The eternal optimist.
Yes.
That's really good. And I think that what we're trying to say is, how you talk about money matters a lot. And if you're naturally optimistic, you can be overly optimistic.
Yeah.
And you can breeze past very big, challenging issues and just not deal with them because your optimistic nature just says, oh, it'll just work out. I don't need to pay attention to that. It'll just work out. The pessimist can take it to the extreme to where, hey, this is all we need to talk about. This is the horrible thing in our life, so we need to focus on it. And you tend to never focus on the good things. Mm-hmm. So how you talk about money matters a lot. And we're just asking the question, how do you, podcast listeners, how do you talk about money? Is it more optimistic or is it more pessimistic? There's another way that we can talk about it, and that is how.
Yep, you can be upbeat versus hopelessness.
That's right.
Or hopeless.
That's right. You can be upbeat or you can be hopeless. And so upbeat and hopeless, it's kind of the extremes of optimistic and pessimistic. Mm-hmm. The upbeat will say, we're going to do this. We can accomplish this. Hopeless says,
it's never going to happen.
Never going to happen. Mm-hmm. Right? And another way that you could talk about money is kindly versus harshly. Right? So the kind way is how.
Yep. So let's talk about money, love.
Yeah. So, So there's a comma there. Let's talk about money, my love. Right. So it's very kind. And then the harsh way, I'm going to say it because I can't even bring you to it. You're too nice. You are a total idiot. Like that would be a harsh way. We kind of laughed when we said this.
It would be hard.
But it is. We know people who talk to their spouse about money this way.
I feel like, it's probably not good.
I can't believe you did that. Many times when you say that, you're literally, that you said, I can't believe you did that. They heard you are a total idiot.
Yeah. It's all about, I feel like a lot of times it's like, this is how I feel when you said, you said one thing, but it actually came across as another thing. Like the way you're saying is you said this and you might've meant something, but they heard it differently.
Welcome to communication. It is the hardest thing on planet Earth is communicating in the way that you intend and people receive it in the way that you intend. And so how you talk about money matters a lot. And here in Love Month, we want you to watch your language. Watch your language. Yeah. We want to make sure that you have healthy conversations about money, that have a healthy balance between and pessimistic, and you have this realistic approach, but that you view it kindly, that you don't do it harshly, because as Steve Martin once said, never fight about money, because after you're done saying a lot of mean things to each other, you still have the same money problems. And you feel much worse. Yeah. So that's a great thing. So here in language, talking about it, how you talk about money matters a lot. Yep. So let's ask some questions.
Yep. All right. So when you think about your past money conversations, when you're thinking about that, are you thinking about it? You're getting there. Okay. When you think about past money conversations, what did you feel?
Yeah. Think about your past money conversations. How do you feel about them right now? Yeah. Maybe you had the conversation yesterday, maybe it was a month ago, maybe you've been needing to have a conversation for a year. But in your past money conversations, what did you feel? And then there's another important question, and that's what?
All right. The next part of it is, what did your spouse feel?
Right. That very important. Dr. John Maxwell says, people may not remember what you say, but they will always remember how you made them feel. Mm-hmm. And that matters a lot, particularly in Love Month, with this relationship built on love. You want your spouse to feel loved, and that you can have difficult, challenging conversations, but in a way that you never question the other's deep love for you and their care for you. Mm-hmm. You don't want them to interpret as you are a total idiot, right?
No.
Seems counterproductive
really
to the love.
For.
Yeah, not what you're going for. So let's ask the question, how do you want to feel, and how do you want your spouse to feel?
Yeah.
Because if you think about this ahead of time, going into the next money conversation, if Jordan's thinking about, okay, I'm going to do a sales pitch because it sounds like he's kind of the visionary, he's got the idea, and we're going to buy the thing. Yeah.
It's good.
I'm sure he's thinking about, hey, I want her to feel positive about this because the sales pitch, I'm a spender and I want to do this. So I'm always thinking, I want her to feel thumbs up on this idea. I want her to be feel like somehow this is benefiting her as well, even though it might be totally selfish on my part. I usually just admit it now. This is a totally selfish request. Yeah. I just say it up front. But how do you want your spouse to feel? Because you can choose language and an approach that fosters that environment. And I think the key word there is choice. You can choose. And if you just venture into the money conversation, which is already fraught with peril and a lot of close, strong human emotions, if you think through that before you have the conversation, you're much more likely to have the outcome that you desire, which is lovely, right?
Lovely. Yeah. And I think as a spouse, you have the ability with one word to build your spouse up or to tear them down. And so when you're having this conversation, the things that are going to push your spouse's buttons or are going to bring them down, or, like the way that you talk matters, like what we're saying. And so you can make the choice with your language for how you're having the conversation, because what pushes their buttons and what brings them down or what builds them up.
So, Jenny and I celebrated our 25th anniversary last year, and we're headed towards our 26th one already. We're like 4 months away from it. And how long have you guys been married now? 8 years, 9 years? 8 years. And so, you learn those things, you learn those buttons. And, one of the things that Jen and I talk about all the time is how she sees clean at a level that I just don't see it. Like you could look in my office that's outside of our studio here and stop looking at it.
There's a lot.
And it's Jen Sengel's office looks wildly different in that there's no trash laying anywhere. But don't call any of my stuff trash. Why did you call my stuff trash?
I did.
See how you made me feel here? Okay. So here's what I would just say is she sees clean. And so, if I'm last out of bed, I have to make the bed. This is the rule we kind of have. Well, I know I can never make that bed. I could spend 4 hours making the bed and not make it at the level she wants it to be. And she enjoys piles of pillows we never use. I don't know why we have all these pillows, but they have to be put in certain places. And she added another one. It's a little white pillow. It's got a design on it, has a J on it for Joe and Jen. And I don't know why we have this pillow, but it's very annoying. And there's no place to put this pillow. And it's just one more pillow. So I've taken some fun with it. And so every day when I make the bed, I put the pillow in some weird place. Like I'll put it up on top of the headboard. I'll put it on a nightstand. I'm doing it because I know she will see it instantaneously. And I know for a minute before she feels the fervors of anger, she's going to smile and smirk saying, he intentionally did this. So it's just a little way that we do it. So I just wanted to kind of show you can kind of have fun with this. And so let's give some tips in our remaining minutes here, some tips for talking about money. That's a way to foster love in Love Month.
All right. So the first one is define time and place. So where you are both most likely to be able to handle the conversation well. It's a keyword. Where you're not tired, you're not hungry, there's no yelling children around. You're actually able to have a conversation about money, about budgeting, about investing, about whatever, topic you need to have the conversation about.
So where is that place for you and Jordan?
Not with our kids.
Yeah.
A lot of times we like to physically leave the house.
Yeah.
So go to a restaurant for dinner or a coffee shop or somewhere where we're out of our normal element. Because I feel like if you're in your house, a lot of times for us, it might not be for you, but it's easy to see the things that you need to do. So you need to clean the house. You need to pick up the kids' toys. You need to vacuum. You need to clean the dishes from dinner. You need there's something always you need to do. But if you leave, you don't necessarily see the things. They're still there.
Yeah.
it's not right in front of you.
That's really
You're
important.
tempted to.
For Jen and I, because we travel so much and we have long travels, we, for some reason, love to drive long distances, and our family lives so far away and we go see them all the time, it's that windshield time. That is a great time. The kids, eventually stop looking out the window. They put in the AirPods and they're off in Wonderland on their show.
Yep.
And that allows us to have the opportunity to just have the conversation. The kids are there, but they're not there.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
That's good.
So it's really good. So it's a defined time and place. Okay. What's another tip?
So another one is regular frequency. So this is not a one-time conversation. So we say it a lot. Money is a journey, not just a moment. So it's something that you have to do on a regular basis. If you're talking about budgeting, every month you're talking about it. If you're talking about investing, you're not talking about just once. You're constantly talking about it. Maybe you're talking about, putting money in your kid's college fund, or, there's so many different components. Maybe you're talking about how to save for the next, thing that your next goal, or investing for a big trip, or, something like that, where you're constantly having regular conversations about it.
Yeah. And frequency is an engineering word. So, that's my engineer coming out of me. But that regular frequency is really important because that money is a journey. And when you have a frequent conversation, it's like a continuation. You can just pick it up and you can remember, hey, I remember when we were deciding this. And now because of that, we've been able to get to here. And it gives you more belief that the next thing can happen. So I remember when we would be in a car and we would have to pull over to a rest area because we had an infant who was nursing. She's 23 now. And I remember in some of those car rides as she became a babbling toddler in the back and she became a preschooler and grew on up, we would have conversations about our college fund. How much are we contributing? Is there a way we can contribute more? And then it shifted to, hey, is the time came where we stopped contributing to that? And now it's, what do we do with the leftovers? Okay, well, that's easy. It's going to go to the next child. And so money is a journey. Because of that frequent conversation, we both have improved each other's financial education, our acumen with the language, and we're both aware of our financial situation, which is extremely valuable.
Yep. All right. Another one is rhythm. So maybe for this meeting, you have a certain rhythm, or this conversation, you have a certain rhythm that you follow. So you have certain things that you're talking about. So some options could be maybe update on goals, review plans, hopes, and dreams. Maybe you're talking about the budget, or addressing obstacles and reviewing opportunities. So different things like that. Maybe every time you're not talking about all of those, but maybe you have, just a built-in rhythm that you're talking about when you have this conversation.
And what you really just shared there is when you start, it's the update on goals and reviewing your PhDs, your plans, hopes, and dreams. It always should start there. Yeah. Not with what's in the account. Start with those. And then you move to the budget, the plan, address those obstacles, and then review opportunities that are in front of you. And we'll list that little rhythm there in the show notes. It'll be something that may be helpful if you've not started these conversations to do that. And so I'll wrap it up by saying, my single angle on love and language, the L in love, that what you say matters a lot. Do not forget that I'll just pick up on what you said. With a word, you can build your spouse up or you can tear them down. Choose to build them up. That's the goal. And when you plan it, then you can choose it, and that'll be the outcome.
Yep.
What's your take?
So my take would be create a time that works for your family. So every family is different. Maybe it works for you to have conversations after you put the kids down and you can mentally plan and prepare to get there. For me, I struggle when I put the kids down. I'm like, I'm done, checked out. But, maybe that works for you. Maybe it works first thing in the morning. Find a time that works for you when you can carve out time to have these conversations. Every family's different.
That's awesome. Well, hey, we can't wait to pick up next month in our LOVE acronym. O stands for?
O stands for opportunity.
We're going to talk about opportunity. So go talk about your language. And hey, as you go out into the world this week, watch your language. Get fired up and have a great week.
Thanks so much for listening to this episode of the Monday Money Tip Podcast, presented by I Was Broke, Now I'm Not. If you enjoyed today's episode, please leave a review and subscribe. And for more great content and to stay up to date, visit IWBNIN.com. We'll catch you next time.